A lot of men are going to hate on this video, but as people, say, a hit dog hollers. So I'm just preparing you before you start dropping in those comments about what this video is about.
You cheated first, so she cheated. Oh my God! Derek, stop doing. Get your ass backing off, silly.
Welcome back to the channel. You see the information on the screen, so you know what I'm about. So let's get into it. We spend a lot of time talking about masculine women, and I definitely think that is a narrative that's going to be going on for quite some time until, again, both sides of that particular coin learn at least what this stuff means. But a lot of times we skip over feminine men. And I think the main reason why we skip over them is because it's just not a trending topic. It's been something that I think is in, the community. And when I say community, I'm really saying all of America, but definitely within the Black community, it is extremely strong, right? And a lot of men don't know that they're feminine, but they could be walking in feminine. And then a lot of women, and this is the real key that I am, starting to push in on more and more, is that a lot of women really don't understand the difference between a feminine man and a masculine man. Recently, I started to talk about feminine pastors in the church. And it can even be noted that the health of a church, as far as the information really flowing forward, can almost be equated to how many men are actually within that church. So that the literal percentage of men that like to be under a specific pastor. And as we really start to look at all of these things, a lot of our problems within our Black society can kind of be equated to it. But I think one of the problems is that there's a lot of, like I say, Black women that are underneath these pastors, and they believe that these men are masculine because in their mind, they're not acting gay. And the problem, I think, is that a man that acts gay is not the same as a man that is feminine. These are actually two totally different things. And I don't think a lot of women, again, that haven't had the true experience understand the difference. The video I showed you earlier, the reason why I wanted you all to key in on that video is because you have a man that he finds out he has bad news. His girlfriend cheated on him. And then you see the tantrum that he did. The tantrum is emotion. It's emotion. This is not a man who's made up in his mind or is thinking about this and trying to figure out, a solution to this problem or figure out what he's going to do next. No, this is a man that is in 100% emotion. More than likely what we saw in the scene, that was his mom talking to him. Notice how she wasn't in her emotions. She was a lot more logical. But he immediately went into throwing a tantrum, falling all over the place, showing all this outward emotion, right? And again, that is feminine, if we want to use that term. See, when you're dealing with ladies, when you're dealing with a man, okay, that is a lot more masculine. He is not going to talk about it. He is going to be about it. It doesn't mean he's not ever going to compliment himself or talk about some of the things that he wants to do. That's not the same thing. What you're looking for from a woman's perspective, you're looking for him on average, his everyday walking around, for him to be solving problem after solving problem, after understanding what the problem is to solving problem. When he's feminine, it's going to be more about him leaning into emotion. He wants to party. He wants to have fun. He wants to spend all his money now, not save it up for future use. Because see, women, even women that walk in their masculine daily, many of them have a feminine side. Just like when I talk about the personalities, again, going back to them again, the instinct type, the thinking type, and the heart type. See, a lot of Black women are heart types. They are. But what they've been taught is to put out this exterior harder core that's kind of like a false version of the instinct type. Okay? And so a lot of Black women, they're in that. They are really a heart type. but they have this outer shell, like a fake type of instinct type of energy. And it's through that they basically want to find someone where they can be feminine. So they go into that area where this feminine pastor is, and he's talking directly to that emotion, and it allows them to feel free for a little while. But what they don't understand is that false instinct energy is what really hurts them, which is really a whole nother story. But that hurts them in the dating market and really just in life in general. All right. And again, I can't really go too deep into that in this video, or otherwise it'll make it too long. But the key element to there, ladies, if you feel like, well, he might be talking about me, but I don't know if he's talking about me, and this is how you know. Truly instinct energy women, they want to conquer the world. So they're going to want to be a podcaster. They're going to want to be a business owner. They're going to want to do all these things. They're going to want to be in management. That is what true instinct energy women do. So if you have a little bit of that, but that's not really what you want to do, more than likely yours is false. And it was given to you by your mom or your dad or even society trying to protect you from these men. But I digress. Let's get back to the point. So as a woman, what should you be looking for? You're looking for a man, like I said, that solves problems. And the issue with this is that most of these men are quiet. Okay. And again, this is where I think a lot of modern women have lost their true understanding. I've tried to, explain to you many, many times before that less than 20% of men are actually aggressive when it comes to dating women, finding women, talking to women. That's really only about 20% of men. And then you got about 20% of men that just ain't never going to do nothing. And those are the men I call losers. All right. So we're not even talking about them. But we're talking about the 60% that's in the middle. All right. And of that 60% that's left, your husband more than likely is among them. And so for you, you have to figure out whether or not the man is masculine or feminine. And feminine men, again, they're going to tell you all the stuff they're going to do. That's number one. Number two, they talk about other people. See, one of the things that's always interesting to me is when I look at the comments, and even the comments of this video, which is going to be really interesting, is that when you have feminine men lash out without logic. So how does this work? There are several men that follow me and been following me for a while. And every once in a while, I'll look down the comments. Like I say, I don't always look at the comments. But I'll look at the comments, and it might be a gentleman down there, and he is making a logical statement against me, 100% against me. He might say, well, Jay, I don't think you thought about this thing over here because, we have this, and 5% of the population, according to XYZ, says that this should be this. Right? And they're like, you did not bring that up in your discussion. That is a guy that is using logic in order, to debunk part of my argument, or at least to add to the argument. Then I'll have another guy that will say something like, man, your shirt was just ugly, man. Why in the world you wearing that shirt? Or, man, you just stupid, man. Your stuff is just dumb. That is a man that is walking in feminine. Do you see the difference? A man that is walking in masculine, even if he disagrees with me, he is going to try to logically reason with me and to see whether or not he can get me to come over to his side or at least acknowledge his point. A man that is walking in feminine, he's going to gossip like women would gossip. He wants to find the lowest common denominator type of situation to try to stab at my emotion. How can I emotionally get this guy Jay off his game? Oh, let me talk about, this about him. Let me talk about that about him. It's an emotional stab. It's a stab at the actual person, not a stab at the ideology, if you get the difference. See, masculine men are going to lean into what I'm saying. They're not going to look at it and say, well, I didn't like what he said. It made me feel weird. So I'm going to talk about the fact that he brown skinned and he really wanted to be light skinned. Or he brown skinned and he really wanted to be dark skinned. You see what I'm saying? It's like, and you can see it throughout the comments. If you're just bored, go through like I said, go look through the comments. I know a lot of people love looking through comments. And you will see every once in a while, there'll be some guy that'll pop up. Many times they won't even have their real name, associated with their account. And they will just say some emotional stab because they're walking in their feminine. So as a woman, okay, how do you avoid these guys? Well, it's the same thing. Most people show, like I say, a zebra shows their stripes, as people say. So it's the same thing. When you're walking with a guy and every complaint he has about another man, okay, or another situation is an emotional complaint. He might have a real complaint, but he attacks emotionally. Okay. Oh, I don't like, Michael B. Jordan because he just a dork. Man, the way he talk, he just a dork. There's nothing Michael B. Jordan can do about that. The way he talks or whatever. The fact that Michael B. Jordan is a little bit more of a geek, as we talk about, or more intellectual. That's got nothing to do with his acting ability. So when a man is out there and he's attacking Michael B. Jordan and it has nothing to do with his acting ability in a movie, that man is walking in his feminine. When a man is trying to arouse your emotions, he's walking in his feminine. When a man seems to have nothing but drama around him, he's walking in his feminine. See, masculine men solve problems. Therefore, around a masculine man, you're going to have very little drama because masculine men squash the drama very quickly and they squash it with logic. In fact, it was something really interesting. There was a lady, Aisha. If I can find her information, I'll try to toss it up.
But here's the thing. Men do not need to like or love you in order to be intimate with you. Because it's a physiological need. You can just simply be good enough to bang. And that's just that. Men are simply hardwired this way. So an interesting and scientific fact is that the back part of a male brain is dominant in perception. And the front part of a male brain is dominant in action. So ideally, they'll stick with an idea or situation until it's just played out, or they come to the realization on their own. I hope that makes sense.
I don't necessarily agree with everything that she has to say, but I did find one statement that she made very interesting because she's one of these women that believes that, women need to level up and they need to find men that can take care of them. She's not quite a Shira 7, but she's more along that path. And many of you know the Shira 7, sprinkle, sprinkle. Well, Aisha is kind of the same way, and I think she's here in Atlanta, if I'm not mistaken. And the thing about Aisha, she said something that was very profound one time in one of her videos because she was mainly talking to women. And she says, ladies, the thing I'm going to tell you about dating these guys, dating these high-profile men that make $250,000 a year, she said, you have to go in prepared because these men are going to win most of the arguments that they have with you. And the reason why they're going to win it is because they lean into their logic. And logically, they can pretty much untie any knot, that you put together. And see, that was the whole point. She recognized that the men that she wanted, if they were to be masculine, this is how they were going to act. And she understood that as a woman, she was going to have to kind of come in and play that game and understand that there was going to be certain things that she was going to have to deal with. And she was trying to get her followers to understand that in their path. Again, if you understand what I'm saying. But when you're dealing with men that are all emotional, all this, all that, again, that is feminine. When you're dealing with a man that he can't keep a job, he cannot keep a job. Every manager is against him. He's feminine. When you have a man that's masculine, he's on the job. He might not like the job, but he's logically understanding I have to stay in this job until I can do maybe something else that he wants to do on the side, whether that is, start a new company, start his own company, or even leave that company and go to another company. Most masculine men are very patient. Okay, most masculine men, if you throw an emotional tantrum, they're not going to tell you that you're stupid or that you're crazy. Like, one of the things that I've noticed out here on social media, and I actually made a video about it a long time ago, and a lot of men were hating on it and a lot of men were loving on it. It just depends upon what side you are on. But one of the things that I've noticed is that a lot of the men that are feminine, they get very upset, okay, when you're dealing with the emotions of a woman. So on the one hand, they're saying, well, women, y'all have to stop being emotional. But then on the other hand, they don't want the woman to act masculine. So it's kind of like, okay, where do you leave? Where does the woman have to deal? Like, one of my friends, she is very emotional. She's a very emotional person. She's very touchy feely, all that whole thing. She's, extreme heart type, but she also has a couple of drops of instinct type in her, right? And her current boyfriend or whatever, there was a time, she had told me where she was just acting crazy. She knows she was acting crazy. She knows she went full crazy on the dude because she was emotionally hurt. She was worried about it. She had said that she was going to wait like a month before she did something, but she didn't because her emotions got the best of her. And so it didn't, she was supposed to wait, like I say, a month, but she ended up waiting like a week. And then she kind of blew up. And all her man did was like grab her hand, pull her close, wrap his arms around her, say, okay, we'll figure this out. Okay, we'll take care of it. It did not move him into his emotion. He never went into emotion with her. And not only did he not go into emotion with her, he understood how to calm her emotions down. So again, there's no drama. There's no stress. And even though she is that type to be crazy, okay, she's that type that will probably flatten tires and stuff like that. Okay, she's that one. But he knew how to quell it. Why does he know how to quell it? Because he leans into logic. Because he himself is not emotional or as emotional. Because men still have emotion, but it's about how they, like I say, how they solve problems, how they go from point A to point B. And so as a woman out here, you should be trying to put yourself around as many masculine men as you possibly can. And for the men that are out here that watch this far into this video, you need to be leaning away from your emotions. Okay, this is what your parents were supposed to teach you when you were young. It's kind of like, people might not like this and all the psychologists come out and they want to say this, that, and the third. But when you're 4 years old and 3 years old, okay, those of us that had really strong, angry dads, if we got hurt and we started crying, our dad would basically be like, boy, you better stop crying or I'm going to give you something to cry about. So we learned very quickly that showing our emotions really didn't help at all. And that we had to learn how to deal with life logically. But that was something we had to learn. And it's something that anybody can learn. So you have to understand, as a man, you don't lean into your emotions. It doesn't matter what women out here are saying. It doesn't matter if they say, well, no, we want men to be more emotional. No, they don't. That is a lot of hearsay. And one of the things I've learned about women is that, no disrespect to them, but a lot of times when they're trying to give men advice like that type of advice generally comes back to bite men. It's the same type of advice that says, okay, we really like nice guys. And we even see so many videos out here now talking about nice guys finish last. And the reason why it doesn't do well is because women naturally, as they try to put on us, they don't naturally woman-splain. So they don't give enough information. They don't give you all the ins and outs and ups and downs that when this behavior is acceptable and when it's not acceptable. But as a man, we generally give all those terms. So a man understands when this one behavior is acceptable and when it's not acceptable. And what I'm letting you know, yes, you can show emotion to a woman. However, it needs to be in certain situations, major situations, like maybe you lost your job, but I wouldn't necessarily lean it there. But definitely if you lost a child or you lost a parent or something like that. And so that's kind of that balance. But when you're going through a tragedy in the house and somebody's about to take your home or about to kick you out of your apartment, a woman doesn't want to watch you cry. At that point, she's looking for a man that can figure out a solid plan. And you have to train your mind to be that way. And women, again, I am going to encourage you, stay away from feminine pastors. Okay, feminine pastors with all that hooting and hollering and all that, oh, y'all feeling it, and how we feeling the Holy Ghost? People ain't really feeling the Holy Ghost. What they're feeling is a large push of emotion. And it's the emotion that's trying to be stirred up by the choir and by the music team and all this other kind of stuff. And y'all know I'm telling the truth because that's when the music team is playing and all that kind of stuff. It's dun, 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 and all that kind of stuff because they're trying to build up that emotion. Notice they never do it without adding the music and without adding all those little extras. Okay, because again, they're trying to get an emotional response. And I'm not saying that emotion is never good. But if your pastor is doing that 40, 50, 60% of the time, then if I was you, I would not be under him because he is going to lead you down a path where you're going to be more inclined to date men like him, where you really need to get with more guys that are a lot more logical, a lot more walking in their masculine, that will solve your problems, okay, and then allow you to have your emotions and understand how to take care of your emotions while they lead you down a path that will actually, like I say, that train is moving. So that is what you want. So anyway, remember we do lives out here. You can check the community page. The first one in January won't be on the first Thursday. It'll actually be on the second Thursday because the year starts off a little interesting. So it'll actually be on the second Thursday, but most of them will actually be first and third Thursdays of every month in 2025. Also, we're doing the speed dating. We've already done one, and we're going to be doing a lot more. Yes, we're only going to really bring 25 to 30 people on at a time so we can really spotlight them, so we can really showcase them. So I want to make sure that, people are attending those. All of that information is in the description. There's a whole lot down there in that description that you can be involved with. If you're interested in talking to me about a collab, or you just have an idea that you think, might work really, really well, hit me up on Instagram. The account is right there. And you can follow me on Instagram and you can follow me on TikTok. All right. So if you like a lot of the stuff that I say, when you see the videos, like it, so that the algorithms will get a little bit more movement, because y'all know about me. I'm just trying to get everybody married. And if you're interested in the speed dating, again, send that out to everybody. Like I say, on Instagram and on TikTok, I already have a video out there that talks about it. I'm going to be putting more out there. So again, when you see those, forward those to your friends. Okay, because we need more people to participate so that there's more people out there. And even for the ladies, send this to the guy that's in your friend zone. You friend zoned him. You're basically saying you don't want him. And he's a good guy. He's a nice guy, whatever it is. So send him this video. Send him that information. Okay, so that guy can participate and that he can find his wife. Okay, don't be holding on to your friend zone guys. Okay, give those men away. You're saying you don't want them, so give them away. All right? So, we have to help each other, because if we all help each other, then we'll all find our person. But we're moving into this space where everybody is saying that the reason why they don't want to do it is because they have fear. But see, fear is a type of selfishness. You might not understand it because the selfishness in fear is self-preservation. All right? And the Bible actually talks about that. There's a couple of times where God actually does talk about that. It cannot be self-preservation. Okay, even Jesus talks about if you want to do what? Have your life, you have to do what? You have to give it up. So I'm encouraging all of you to use your own friend groups to supply the needs, okay, for other people in this world. Stop being selfish. Stop being afraid. Okay, especially those that are under 40. Okay, between 18 and 40. Don't be afraid. Okay, be okay with saying, hey, girl, I met this really great guy that I think you should talk to. He is your type. Y'all get along. Y'all, almost look alike. Y'all will make a cute couple. And a guy even saying, dude, I think this girl I met the other day, she ain't really my type, but she is definitely your type. I've been knowing you your whole life. Blah, blah, blah. Help each other. Okay? Let's not move into selfishness, especially when the selfishness is just about, well, I'm afraid that they're going to hate me if the relationship doesn't work. It's okay, if the relationship don't work, but you just tell them, like, look, I'm just introducing you. Okay, if it fall apart, that's on you. All right, and you can always give them a disclaimer. All right, before you move on. So anyway, please like, please subscribe, and I'm going to see you all in the very next video.